Each of us has unique ways of responding to moral situations. In the famous Heinz dilemma, for example, some of you may have said that Heinz was right for stealing the drug because saving his wife is more important than protecting the pharmacist's property. While others, however, may have argued that he was wrong since there are other ways of saving his wife aside from stealing. One psychologist who tried to explain why we have different perspectives and decisions, even in similar moral situations, was Lawrence Kohlberg. He conducted a study in the 1950s using stories of moral dilemmas. He asked people what they would do and why if they found themselves in similar situations. He then analyzed their answers and came up with his stage theory known as the stages of moral development. Hello everyone, and welcome. In this video, we will discuss Kohlberg's stages of moral development. We will start with a short background of the theory, then describe each of its levels and stages. This video is part of our ethics series. If you want to learn more about the topic, please check our playlist linked in the description below and subscribe to our channel for more related content. Kohlberg's stages of moral development is a theory based on the work of Swiss psychologist John Piaget that explains the development of moral reasoning in individuals. According to Kohlberg, moral development follows a series of 6 progressive stages, each of which is more capable of responding adequately to moral dilemmas than previous ones. These 6 stages, in turn, can be grouped into 3 general levels: the pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. Following Piaget, Kohlberg argued that it is rare for someone to go back to an earlier stage of moral development, since the understanding in each stage is retained in later ones. Moreover, an individual cannot skip any stage, for each stage provides a new and necessary perspective, more comprehensive and distinct than, but integrated with, previous ones. The first level of Kohlberg's stages of moral development is the pre-conventional level. This level of moral reasoning is especially common among children and even in animals. Individuals at this level judge the morality of an action by its direct consequences. They conform to rules in order to avoid punishment or receive rewards. People at the pre-conventional level are egocentric, meaning they are solely concerned with themselves. They think that what is right is what one can get away with or what is personally satisfying. The first stage of this level, or stage 1 of Kohlberg's stages of moral development, is the punishment and obedience orientation. Individuals in this stage focus on the direct consequences of their actions on themselves. They obey in order to avoid punishment. For example, a child in this stage will consider an action morally bad because he ended up being punished the last time he did it. The second stage of this level is the instrumental purpose orientation. This stage can be best described by the expression, "What's in it for me?" In this stage, individuals consider any moral behavior good if it serves their interest or is convenient. Their focus is solely on receiving rewards or satisfying personal needs without any regard for others. If at all they're concerned with others, it is because other people further their own interests or they get something in return. Following the pre-conventional level is level 2, or the conventional level. This level is typical of adolescents and adults. At this level, individuals accept society's conventions of right and wrong, usually without any question. Their focus shifts from self-interest to relationships with other people and with society as a whole. Individuals strive to obey rules set by parents, peers, and the government in order to win their approval or to maintain social order. The first stage of this level, or stage 3 of Kohlberg's stages of moral development, is the good boy or nice girl orientation. Individuals in this stage enter society by conforming to social standards. They try to be a good boy or good girl in order to live up to society's expectations, having learned that being regarded as good makes other people like them. They start to judge the morality of an action by evaluating its consequences to their relationships, which now begin to include things like respect, gratitude, and the golden rule. The second stage of the conventional level is the law and order orientation. Individuals in this stage take into consideration a larger perspective, that of society. Their moral decision-making has now moved beyond the need for individual approval and the consequences to their relationship with others. They believe that rules and laws maintain social order that is worth preserving. Most active members of society remain in this stage, where morality is still predominantly dictated by an outside force. Next to the conventional level is level 3, the post-conventional level. At the post-conventional level, individuals have a wider view of morality. They move beyond the perspective of their own society and attempt to assume that of all individuals. Their morality, then, is defined in terms of universal principles and values that apply to all individuals and situations. Also, they have their own moral principles and start to realize that their moral views may not be the same as society's, and vice versa. Because of this, they believe that one can disobey society's rules if they are inconsistent with one's own principles. They believe that rules are not absolute orders that must be obeyed without question. The first stage of this level is the social contract orientation. Individuals in this stage view the world as holding different opinions, rights, and values. Because of this, they respect each perspective as unique to each person or society. They regard laws as social contracts rather than rigid orders, tools that can be modified to improve human well-being. Hence, they believe that rules should be changed, especially when these are inconsistent with individual rights or do not promote the interests of the majority. This can be achieved by majority decision and compromise. The second stage of this level, or the last stage of Kohlberg's stages of moral development, is the universal ethical principle orientation. In this stage, the right action is determined by one's self-chosen ethical principles of conscience. These principles are abstract and universal in application, meaning it takes the perspective of every person or group that could potentially be affected by the decision. Individuals in this stage see an action never as a means, but rather always as an end in itself. This means that they act because it is right and not merely because it avoids them punishment or is in their best interest or is expected, legal, or previously agreed upon. Although Kohlberg insisted that stage 6 exists, he found it difficult to identify individuals who consistently demonstrated its principles. He also claimed that some individuals may never reach this stage. Though still a theory, many later studies have confirmed the basic ideas of Kohlberg's stages of moral development, ideas such as the general sequence of its stages and their cumulative comprehension of succeeding stages. Some scholars, on the other hand, have criticized it as too androcentric, since it was narrowly based on the responses of white, upper-class men and boys. And also as culturally biased, because its highest stages of moral reasoning primarily reflect the Western ideal of justice, based on individualistic thought. Despite these support and criticisms, I hope that this video was able to help you understand the fact that not all moralities are equal. Some are childish, while others are more mature. And that almost every one of us has a different moral perspective and decision from others. How about you? Which stage of moral development do you think you're currently in?